Tonight, Australia could be about to go nuclear, but until now, we haven't known where the plants would be. Now we do. So are you about to get one in your backyard?
This is a plan for our country which will underpin a century of economic growth and jobs for these communities.
If we don't do this, power bills are going to go up and up and up because this government at the moment is obsessed with one form of energy that's dependent on the weather.
It's time for the coalition to take over and to lead our nation away from this madness of an all-renewables approach.
The opposition today unveiling the 7 nuclear power sites it plans to build if it wins the next election.
It's time for an adult conversation about keeping the lights on and pushing power prices down.
Their locations, the sites of retiring or retired coal power stations. 2 in New South Wales and Queensland, 1 in WA, South Australia and Victoria. 5 of the 7 in coalition seats.
It will mean that we can utilise the existing distribution networks.
Whether the plants will be large-scale reactors like those in Europe or small modular reactors, an unproven technology, is undecided. But the first 2, they say, could be operating by 2037. Except none of the state leaders are keen.
We've got a prohibition on nuclear power in the state. My government's not going to waive it.
Your electricity bill could go up 4 to 6 times.
We absolutely will not stand for that.
Why isn't he telling people how much that is? Well, presumably it's because he knows it'll make power more expensive.
I think somebody famously said I wouldn't stand between a premier and a bucket of money.
As for the price tag for taxpayers?
We'll deal with the cost in the next stage of our policy announcements.
Fortunately, the CSIRO, the nation's peak scientific body, has crunched the numbers, finding one large-scale reactor would cost at least $8.5 billion, take at least 15 years to deliver, and the cost of the electricity it generates, twice as expensive as solar or wind.
It will be a fraction of the government's cost, but it will be a big bill. There's no question about that.
We've seen no costs, we've seen no gigawatts, we've seen no detail. This is a joke. It's a serious joke because it threatens our transition.
Today's move, a huge gamble for the opposition leader who says he's ready for the challenge.
I'm very happy for the election to be a referendum on energy, on nuclear.
It might be the dumbest policy ever put forward by a major political party. It is the worst combination of economic and ideological stupidity.
Well, National Senate Leader Bridget McKenzie joins us now. Senator, we just heard from a local community member who will be getting a nuclear reactor in her area in Victoria. Here's what she had to say.
I'm really annoyed and frustrated with the coalition. They haven't come and spoken to the community, and we don't want nuclear in our community. We are not a dumping ground.
So what do you say to that?
Well, I'm very, very happy to tell that community member and others that our plan for a cleaner, low emissions, affordable and reliable energy system means that communities are going to be very, very much at the heart of what our plan represents. So we want to spend the next 2.5 years speaking to local communities, engaging very deeply. These assets are going to be generating high-paying jobs in these communities for generations to come, as well as affordable zero-emissions power. So that's a great opportunity for these 7 communities.
Did you really announce, pick 7 sites and then say you're going to do the consultation with the community after that?
Well, I want your viewers to compare and contrast our plan, which is a deep commitment, a guarantee to engage over a long period of time with these 7 communities about the opportunity that's in front of them, as opposed to the Labor government, who is citing renewable, industrial-sized projects in communities that are fighting tooth and nail.
Sure, but you'll appreciate that nuclear energy is it's a big issue,
so
right?
We're guaranteeing
it raises issues in people's minds in Australia that really do require consultation. Am I right? You haven't consulted them yet. So you've announced where it's going to be and then you do the consultation with them after.
So what we're doing, Wally, we haven't announced where any of these projects will be built. What we've announced today is the 7 sites that will be subject to further consultation, deep engagement, technical assessments, and then obviously decisions will be made over coming years once that consultation's been undertaken, because this is a huge opportunity for these communities.
The biggest criticism of nuclear when it's been reviewed, whether it be by Ziggy Switkowski or the CSIRO, is cost. It's just so expensive to start up a new industry and then get it going. I can't help but notice, it's the number one talking point. You've released no costings here. And in fact, we haven't even been promised that we'll receive costings before the election. How are people meant to vote on that when that is such a key question?
When you look at the Labor Party's transition to net zero, that is looking to be a $1.2 to $1.5 trillion cost that taxpayers are going to have to pay. And energy prices are going to go up. So when you talk about the cost, when you're looking at the cost of the transition being in the trillions, the cost of nuclear power generation is very much affordable within that range. So we're being upfront and honest, and we're going to continue to do that. We will release costings as we go forward. Today's announcement is about the 7 sites, the 7 communities who are highly energy literate and who want to be powering the nation for generations to come, the opportunity that's available to them. That was what our announcement is about today, and we'll have more to say on costings going forward.
Before the next election?
We'll have more to say on costings going forward. We're being upfront, Waleed. We're not trying to sell you a pup, that somehow we're going to carpet the regions with 22 solar panels a day over the next 8 years, 40 wind turbines a month, and 28,000 kilometres. It's only 1,000 clicks to get to between Sydney and Melbourne. 28,000 kilometres of new transmission lines in the next 8 years.
Okay.
We're saying we can do this in a better way for the environment, with environmental approvals, with community buy-in, traditional owners tick off, and we'll be bringing down power prices to boot and meeting our emissions targets.
Okay.
We're serious about this.
You're saying that it's credible and you have all the details. That's partly why I asked the costings question, because it's one of the most common lines of attack the coalition has against Labor when it has a proposal. We saw it over climate change policy in 2019. We saw it over childcare costings. We saw it over the Voice referendum. I mean, it does seem to be a major plank for you. But if what you're saying
Waleed, how much is Labor's plan going to cost? How much is Labor's plan going to cost?
This is an excellent question for Labor, and
You
if I were
can't tell me,
interviewing
'cause
Labor,
Chris
I would
Bowen,
ask them that
they
question.
won't.
But I'm asking
They won't tell you.
And I haven't even heard a guarantee that we'll even find out before the next election.
Waleed, today's announcement is, I think, super exciting. We've got the largest reserves of uranium in the world. It's in our backyard. We've got a zero-emission solution using 21st century technology on a generation asset that's going to last 90 years. I think it's exciting, and I think our communities are absolutely up for the debate.
Now, Bridget, obviously it's one of the biggest stories of the year, and I always wonder, when you have a big policy rollout like this, a big announcement, it must be kind of very stressful. What do you kind of do at the end of the day? Do you go home and watch TV? Perhaps I hear Chernobyl's a really good show to watch.
The Simpsons. Wow, really funny.
Come on, Sam. This is serious chat.
I think she just nuked you, Sam.
I got nuked.
Bridget McKenzie, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.